good. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm sure you want a coffee pretty soon, so I'm going to make this quite snappy, keep it quite simple for everyone today. So I'm going to talk to you about product market fit, and just a little bit about me, okay? So I've had 15 plus years experience in the product field, read a lot of books, I've built many, many different products. And I guess what I've done recently is I did a product MBA with a lovely chap called Henry Latham. And you'll wonder, why does a senior director need to do a product MBA? But actually, it was to take me back to my roots and that first principles thinking, which I want to instill in all of you here today, which is so important for us in product, right? Going back to first principles. Where do I work? I work at Huddle. I'm the senior product director there, and literally we are powering every match analysis, recruitment, and performance decision for elite professional teams across the globe. It's a fantastic place to be, very fast-paced. We're in a mature stage, I guess, startup 15 years ago, and we're building some amazing products for the Premier League, for the NBA, all the big brands around there, and I'm super proud to work there. If you're looking for a role, I'm hiring, so please come and work for me. Awesome, let's go on to the next slide. If you like the sound of what you're seeing today, please connect with me. I'd love to catch up with you here today as well. If you've got any questions on anything that I say or anything to do with product, get in touch. I'd really appreciate that. What am I going to talk to you about today? So we're going to talk about all these different things that you're seeing on the screen. What is product market fit, right? It is really important to solidify this definition for you all and talk about then some of the common myths to do with product market fit. And we're going to talk about why it's so important, like why is it so important in our world that we reside in terms of making fantastic products on a day-to-day basis, and how do you get to it? Now, there's loads and loads of books on this topic, okay? But today, I'm going to keep it very layman's terms, very simple, and share with you some of the things that have helped me understand how to achieve product market fit. And lastly, just 3 key takeaways. So if you don't remember anything that I'm about to say or over the next 20 minutes or so, take those takeaways, let's have a chat and a coffee, and we'll hopefully get there. Awesome. Let's start talking about what is product market fit. As I said, there's many, many, many different definitions. And the one that I really, really kind of like is this one here. Identifying a compelling value hypothesis is what I call finding a product market fit. A value hypothesis identifies the features that you need to build as product managers, the audience that is likely to care about this is really important, the audience that is likely to care about them, and the business model required to entice your customers to buy this product. Keeping it very, very simple, we're going to break all of that down over the next 20 minutes. Secondly, this one, I love this one as well. Product market fit happens when you have successfully identified your target customer. There's a big theme around the target customer here and segmenting that customer and serving them with the right product at the right time, I would add as well. Time has a lot to do with these things. If you think about what happened during COVID, loads of these startups kind of started to flourish because they tapped into an untapped potential into the pandemic, right, which changed all of our lives. Shopping, remote access, Hopin, all those big brands started to do virtual conferences. They've never done it before, but they've succeeded because they were there with the target audience at the right time. That's really, really important. And product market fit, I think the one thing I want you to really, really kind of take away from this conversation today, it's not just for startups. It's not just for new product development. You need to continue to find this in your existing products day to day to day. At Huddle, if you're not talking to customers weekly, daily, if you're not talking about customer outcomes, you are not winning, right? They don't want you to work there because the customer is the most important thing. So it is as much about your existing products as it is about those new products. And a lot of companies don't see this, right? They see their numbers going up, they see their customer satisfaction scores going up. Great, fantastic. But what happens if you're in a SaaS company? What happens that next year, right? When you're in a retention problem all of a sudden, because you've got these one-time buyers buying your product, setting up contracts with you, and then they leave because you have not innovated. You don't continue to find that product market fit. So just remember that mantra. There's always going to be another shark out there, right? You've all heard about the red ocean of sharks and the blue ocean. There's always going to be sharks out there trying to take your business, and you need to make sure that you're 1 step, 2 step, 10 steps ahead of them and continuously innovating and finding your product market fit. And so the other thing that I'm going to tell you, which is really, really important, I believe that you need to stay in a continuous state of beta. We talk about alphas, betas, when we're taking new features out, but stay in that continuous state of beta mindset is going to allow you to just innovate and innovate and innovate. So let's talk about some of the myths around product market fit. I'm sure you've heard these, but I've picked a few that really kind of resonated with me. Let's talk about the first one, spontaneously. It doesn't happen spontaneously. Your aim as product managers, as senior product managers, as VPs, as directors, is to create, market, and sell a product that resonates with your niche and your target audience. We're going to talk about niche in a second. You're going to have razor-sharp focus on that hypothesis-driven mindset. You're going to have to test. You're going to have to validate continuously with your customers, because that's the only way you're going to understand the root cause problems and frustrations that they have. And you're going to talk about your value proposition over and over again, But you need to, and you can do this very quickly. When I did the product MBA, I was bootstrapping a product. I literally took a product idea, finding my niche, all the way to execution in 8 weeks, right? That's to a full-fledged prototype out to customers. You can do it even faster than that if you've got time and you haven't got 2 boys and a job to do. You can do it a lot faster than that. Just remember, it doesn't manifest itself all of a sudden, and that you really, really have to work hard towards it, right? And finding that niche, I'm going to keep repeating that, and the acuteness of the problem that that niche has is really, really important. Let's talk about the next one. It's evident, it's obvious, right, when you've achieved it. No, of course there are obvious signs, right? I talked to you about your figures going up, your NPS score going up, revenue going up, customer sentiment through the roof. But these things don't happen overnight, and you have to continue to maintain this. Test, continue talking to your customers, and you don't do this once. As I said, you could end up with retention problems, which takes you to a whole different category afterwards as well. I think the most important thing that I'm going to keep repeating as well is transforming your customer from a pain point and a frustration to their desired outcome. That's when you truly achieve product market fit. We've all had pain points, right? You can remember some of the pain points, frustrations you've had with products. Have they, as the company, transformed you to your desired outcome? Think about that. And think about what your customers are facing on a daily basis with your products as well. The next one, once achieved, it can't be lost. I work for a sports company. I thought I'd put that slide up there, right? The process is iterative for a reason. Okay, it requires ongoing maintenance, as I keep saying. This is where your listening skills are really, really crucial in talking to not only your customers and your product teams around you, but what about your go-to-market teams? What about your marketing teams? What about your sales teams? They're talking to customers on a daily basis, right? You should be too, but bring all that insight together, because it's really, really important kind of having shared outcomes and objectives across the business to drive that product market fit. A few last ones. So advantage, competitive advantage. You must think about your total addressable market in this case as a means to identify your revenue potential that you're going to get from this product market fit. But how do you do that, right? You can either focus on segments to determine success, very niche segments, or you can serve bigger markets and focus on pain points for each of those segments. Like, there's no right or wrong answer there. It just depends what your product is doing, what your organization is doing. And remember, your competitors are literally going to try and throw you out of the water every single day. It happens at Huddle a lot. We used to be the dominant company out there for sports tech. There are so many little sharks coming at us every single day. And it's not, for us, it's not about what the competition is doing. It's about what they're not doing, okay? That's really important. Because you could just be a copycat out there. I don't recommend that at all. But it's about what underserved needs are they not addressing with your target market that's really, really important. Out with the old and in with the new, right? I've talked about this. Product market fit is not just for new products. It is for your existing products as well. It should be applied, that build, measure, learn mantra. You've all heard about it, right? Some companies just tend to forget about that when they've achieved success. But actually, what about the next big thing? What about that next big feature? Listen to your customers' complaints. That will tell you a lot as well. I've recently started to delve into more of the complaints than the sort of like, the high NPS scores, because that's giving me insight into what my suite of products are doing at Huddle. And just serving those underserved needs, why are they going and buying multiple products? We want them to come into our ecosystem, continuing to find that sweet spot for the customer to take them to that desired outcome. And lastly, simply the best, that, there's this misconception that you need to be perfect, right? And I love this quote that I'm about to tell you. So we all know about perfect is the enemy of good, right? That quote. But as Winston Churchill put, perfectionism is the enemy of progress. When we decide to try something new, the opportunity and fear and failure of rejection come knocking. But don't let that happen. Your products don't need to be perfect. They need to drive a need, right? They need to drive a frustration and a pain point. Earlier this year, in May, we launched a fantastic telestration tool at Huddle called Studio. And I only joined Huddle in January. And I was thinking, wow, they want to launch in May? It's not looking good. It's not looking perfect. The workflows need addressing. There's a few customers that are saying it's not very friendly, doesn't look that great. We still launched it. You know why? Because it served the needs of that customer. It was not perfect. You can perfect it afterwards till the cows come home, right? But get something out there really, really quickly in the hands of your customers and let them help you co-create and drive the next set of features. And that's exactly what we're doing with this tool. We went out to global football. We want to go out to other markets. We're working with our customers on a daily, weekly basis to understand how we can save them time. It's all about saving them time. That was the mantra that we had. And we have, we've definitely done that, but we could get better. It's not a perfect product. Fine, it's still out there. It has been a huge success in upsells, renewals, and all of that. We keep hearing it's a door opener. Fantastic. So I've talked about the myths. Now let's start talking about why it's so important. And you've heard some of this throughout. Firstly, the law of market failure, which you're going to see on the screen right now. So why do most products fail? And there's 4 reasons, but this is one of the biggest ones, right? Product market fit. The other reasons are growth cult. You're in a growth cult. It's all about the money, money, money. Leadership chasing after the next big thing. I spoke to a product manager this week who works for a big organization. I shall not name the name. But they're all about delivery. They're all about, let's go for the next biggest bit of money, bang for buck. They don't care about customers' frustrations. So they're in a bit of a growth cult right now. Now, what I said to him is that money's going to come, but it's going to go as well. So what happens in 2 years' time when your retailer comes to the end of that contract and you haven't innovated, right? It's really important. So growth cult is one of the biggest reasons, one of the reasons that many companies fail. Lack of lean product development, so not getting there soon enough. I've just spoken about that with our telestration tool. Really, really important. Get it out there. Deliver incremental value always, right? Get it in the hands of customers as quickly as possible, even if it's not perfect. Next one is leadership crisis, right? So pivoting, we heard this just now, actually. What happens when things around you change? Stick to your strategy, right? You've got a strategy for a reason. Stick to that, have razor-sharp focus, but often leadership goes into crisis at that moment, going, right, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, pivot, pivot, pivot. That's one of the reasons why many companies fail. And the biggest one is this one. So it is all around product market fit. What you've essentially not done if you're failing because of product market fit is not understood your target customer or segment or your niche, and you haven't addressed their problem. Timing could have been an issue in that as well, but simply put, you have not addressed their problem and you haven't got there fast or effortlessly enough. We've all heard about these things, right? Some of you are probably too young to remember some of these things, but I could not believe when I was researching for this that McDonald's spent £100 million on that burger and that campaign. Like, why? Why didn't they just test this out with customers? Of course, product development, lean product development was just coming about, I guess, at that point. Probably wasn't around. It's probably one of the reasons why. But look at all the failures here, and there are many, right? All of these, if you actually put them together, they didn't find a product market fit, or they did the classic thing of let's chase after what a competitor is doing, try and do it better, and failed miserably. So let's talk about this a little bit. If you haven't read this book, this is a fantastic book. Alberto talks about the right it, and I love this quote. He uses very different language in terms of hypo-analysis, hypo-zooming. He talks about market engagement analysis, all of these kind of things and concepts. But if you think about it, he's saying the same thing that everyone else around us is saying about product market fit. He talks about your own data, making sure that you're always using your own data, not someone else's data. Thoughtland he talks about, and I love this, right? Thoughtland is all about, I remember actually in my previous company, we were trying to find a product market fit for something that we were developing, and the guys, the team that I inherited kept going to focus groups. That is Thoughtland. That's fuzzy thinking. There's a lot of confirmation bias there, right? Talk to individual customers. That's what Alberto talks about. Talk to individual customers, get it out there as quickly as possible, and that's your true measurement of product market fit. And he talks about prototyping, which I'm going to talk to you about in a bit as well. Because prototyping can be expensive in some organizations. You can do it quickly, yes, but prototyping is a new concept that I learned when I read this book a couple of years ago. And we've all seen this, right? Dan Olson's product market fit pyramid and the 5 kind of stages and where product market fit sits. Now, the main premise, I'm not going to go into this in a lot of detail because you can read about it online. He talks about hypothesis and execution across all those 5 layers, right? In turn, and that's exactly what I'm going to break down for you in terms of how you get to product market fit in a second. But have a look at this. It kind of is very informative, and then putting it into practice is what I'm going to give you in a few moments. So let's quickly go there. How do you get to product market fit? You can go about it for days, hours, weeks, years. Do it quickly. And those are the steps that I'm going to show you today. And we can talk about them at coffee as well. So here are some steps, right? And we're going to go and break down each of these. 1, find your niche. I kept talking about that, your target market. Create your transformation promise or your minimal viable offer. If you haven't heard that term, we're going to break that down in a second. Prototyping and prototyping. Prototyping coming before the very expensive or could be expensive prototyping. Talking to your customers continuously throughout this, but there's something that you can do around that prototype stage and prototype stage that tells you immediately whether you're transforming that customer from their frustration point to their desired outcome. And then we talk about strategic roadmaps and implementing that beta. Let's break this down. Starting with your niche. So firstly, what is a niche? You've got some definition up there. Specific, distinct, recognizable group of people to serve, and the niche then derives value from our products, and your goal is to ultimately convert them to a high experience customer. Once you have a high experience customer, you've transformed the person from a transformation of a pain point to their desired outcome, and those are the ones that are likely to buy your product, right? Remember that. Don't just look at demographics though, by the way. This is really, really important. When looking at a niche, get under their skin, not literally, of course, but get under their skin, their pain points, their frustrations. What are they talking about? What's the vocabulary that they're using? What is their desired situation? What are their beliefs, right, in terms of that transformation that you're going to take them through? Think about the acuteness of their problem. Is it acute enough for you to actually figure that problem out for them? And think about the timing as well. Is the timing right to solve this problem for them? So remember, motivations, market potentials, vocabulary, get under the skin, not just demographics, okay? Really, really important. And you'll start building a really nice understanding of that niche. And remember that real value is transformative, right? So throughout this process, what you ultimately want to do is attract your niche, activate them, convert them, and then start driving value for them. Just remember those 4 points as well. Let's talk about this, right? Your MVO, so minimal viable offer. We've all heard of MVPs, we've heard of MVS, we've heard of all. This is really important. This is the promise that you're making to your customer to transform them in their journey, right? Uncover their pain, their problems, discover what it means for that customer if you've solved them, and do this with a great, amazing value proposition. And this is where your marketing teams can help as well. So your value proposition could be around saving money, saving them time, helping them make money, of course, right? Investment products, things like that, and lifestyle benefits. But I'm going to show you an example of this on the next screen with Superhuman. So their promise is the fastest email experience ever made. Fantastic company. They're making a ton of money. How they did this and how I recommend that you think about the MVO is at the bottom. And what they've done is essentially worked on the left-hand side, the words that I've put there. So we believe that this specific niche, they looked at a target audience, is currently frustrated by X problem, and their ideal situation is X. Use that formula, and then you can turn it into a product vision like they have there. So this is all about the MVO and how you're going to transform that customer. Next up, you're familiar with this, right? Ash Maurya, Lean Canvas. Now, I have used this in many different ways. I've actually used it to rally stakeholders around a problem, but actually you can use it for product market fit as well, because what you do need to do quite early on is start thinking about your go-to market strategy, right? If you're not thinking about your unique value proposition, the problems that you want to solve, or the revenue streams even, is it free? Is it an app that's going to be free for a while? Are we going to start getting money later? Super important. So use this as a mechanic to kind of start rallying your teams around the problem. And when you do your discovery and when you do all of the things that I'm going to talk to you about in a second, bring all these artifacts to life, right, into a presentation. That's your powerful influence deck that you can show your stakeholders. This is what our customers are saying. This is where I think we need to be based off of what our customers are saying. And this is how we can transform those customers into buying our product or activating on our product. Prototyping and prototyping. So get out of thought land, right? That's really important. Take opinions off the table. And the way that you do this is start talking to customers. It's very obvious, right? You start talking to customers. Now, prototyping is a mechanic, and it's in that book, The Write It, of fake door testing, right? So what he talks about in the book is You could just simply put a placard saying bookshop out there, right? And you want to see, with a window, you want to see how many people are knocking on that. Those are your niche audiences. So out of 1,000, if you get 50 or whatever it is, you know how many people are going to buy your product essentially or walk into your store. This gets you out of fuzzy thinking and, kind of all of this confirmation bias. It's really cheap and dirty. I literally created a landing page for one of my products and had a sign-up form with nothing around it, right? But I had my MVO, and that attracted people into it. They signed up. I got a good understanding of whether this is a goer or not. And it gives you a great chance to pivot away at that point before you go into prototyping and building and implementing. So a very, very simple way of doing that is prototyping. And also, aside from landing pages, aside from fake door tests, smoke tests, you could create a video about your product. You could put a video up there, put a sign-up page. How many people are going to sign up to that thing? And then go into the expensive things afterwards. When you're kind of thinking about product market fit and you're doing all this prototyping, it's really important to start engaging with your customers through surveys or anything else that helps you gain a product market fit score. So get that feedback, and I'm going to talk to you about the types of questions that you can ask. When you actually get the results back and you segment that, a plus 20% score is good. Slack has 51%, for example, but I'm going to show you what kind of questions you should ask, and do it during your discovery with the customers. Do it during your calls. Do it during your onboarding session with them. Give them a survey right there and then, or do it afterwards. So the survey question's really simple. How would you feel if you could no longer use this product, right? Very simple. And then within that, you have a scale of very disappointed, somewhat disappointed, I'm not, I don't care, or I no longer use it. Very, very simple questions, and then the other questions underneath. And what you get from that is obviously the results that you can then segment. So going back to what Superhuman did, they did that survey in 2017 when they were building their product. And they segmented it, and you can see there that they got a plus 20% score. Those are your high experience customers, right? That very disappointed group are the ones that you want to chase after. And then you carry on the discovery through prototyping, further prototyping, co-creation with that cohort, and you follow them in the journey. Hopefully this is all making sense. I'm just going to come up to the last few slides now. So, and lastly, the last step in the process is obviously this, right? Now, next, later roadmaps, looking at the impact, strategic roadmaps, which come out of your discovery. It's really important. I would say, I'm not belittling engineering or the delivery of this. This is probably the simplest part because you've got over that hurdle of who you're chasing after, what you're going to do, what is their problem, what is their frustration, how are you going to transform it from them. And remember, build, measure, learn. I like to say learn, build, measure, learn, because you are learning before you're going into that stage anyway. It's an ongoing, continuous effort. And remember, I talked about being in a state of permanent beta, really important. This is what's going to get you in that stage of permanent beta. It's not a one-time thing. And lastly, you focus, all of you should know this, but you focus on high outcome, low effort areas to drive value to your customers immediately. If something is a high impact and it's going to take a lot of effort, look for those quick wins that you could get you out there sooner and build and iterate on that. So the product market fit engine, just to recap, is all of these steps here, right, that I've just talked about. Identifying your high experience customer through finding your niche, survey segment, discovery, all of those things, analyze those, chase after the high experience customers, and then implement. Key takeaways. This is what I want you to go away with. What this process allows you to do, it could literally take you days, by the way, or hours if you're dedicated to it. What it allows you to do is make better mistakes faster. So at Huddle, we have this thing called learn by doing. right? We were doing prototypes too late on in the stage. We've started prototyping with customers and actually understanding the frustration and solving the problems at the same time, way before you get anywhere near implementation. And it's changed because it's made us faster. It's got us closer to our customers and understanding their mindset. And then you go into implement fantastic products that make differences to all these customers. Remain in that permanent beta, super important, right? For every single product out there, not just a startup, not just new product development, your existing products too. And find that product market fit for all of those existing products, as I've just said, as well as all of those new ones there too. I think that is it. So there was a lot to pack in. I'm sorry if that was really quick, but I wanted to kind of give you some tangible takeaways. Come and meet me for a coffee later and we will talk. Thank you very much.